following is a quick overview of how to do how mobile information accessing on your mobile device can help a salesperson's productivity significantly. What I'm looking at is an app called Qlik, and then we've got our Enerlead data inside of there. The data that we have includes new facility information. It also includes a new well license information and wells drilled information. So I'm just going to give you two quick examples. The first is I'm going to look at the information wells drilled. So let's say that I'm going in and I'm wanting to prepare myself for a meeting. So I'm a sales guy and I've gone in and I've secured a meeting with Bonterra Energy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the app. I went into the app, wells drilled, and then I'm going to go into the dashboard accounts. And then the dashboard has two main components associated. First is a list of accounts, and the second is a time frame on when wells have been drilled over the last 12 months. I'm going to select the accounts option or component, and I can come in and I can select up here. Let's take a look at license count top to bottom, but I happen to be going in to see Bonterra Energy. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to search Bonterra, and I can see that Bonterra shows up. And then what I do is I select it or pin it and into my search, and then I use the back key to take me back to all the other dashboard components. So here I see down below is the list of how frequently they've been drilling wells, and so that helps me a little bit. So when I go in, I understand what their patterns are from a drilling perspective. Secondly, I'll go in and I'll look at some location information. So I selected the next window, and it happened to be location, and I can see that all the wells, the 26 wells that have been spud have been in Alberta, and their focus is in the Cardium, and the specific field that they're going for is Pembina. So again, I'm prepping for the call. I know they're a Cardium play. I know Pembina is the area that they've been focusing on. The next thing I wanted to do, just to help me out a little bit, is who is their drilling contractor. So I can see that all the wells have been drilled using the Iron Hand and using Rig 1. And then I might go in and take a look at some of the contacts that are related to this particular individual. The other thing from a location perspective that I might want to look at is these are all the surface locations. And once I get to the surface locations, if I change the count, I then can come in and take a look at, how many of them are pads versus single wells on that side of it. In addition, it's not my product, but I just show you how this ties into something like LinkedIn on your mobile device. I can then open up my LinkedIn. I can come in and I can say I'm interested in looking at Bonterra, and let's say that I am focused on drilling and completions. Am I meeting with Brad or am I meeting with somebody else? And then I can also look at some of the other people that are associated with Bonterra and what roles that they play within that account. And then I can, of course, go into Brad and drill down a little bit more as far as ask him about stone resources, or maybe I have something related to Murphy Oil. So those would be an example of the way that I can go in and I can use mobile technology to help me prepare for a sales call. The other example that I'm going to give you is if I was using the system to target a specific area. So let's say that I had some time, I wanted to make some calls, I wanted to do some connections, those types of things. One of the areas I can go is I'm now still in wells drill, and I want to see who's drilling in what area. I can come down here to the board field center, which is a grouping, and let's say that I have equipment in the Drayton Valley area. I'll select Drayton Valley as my primary focus, and then when I go back, I hit the back key, I can see all the areas in Drayton Valley that happen to be very popular, the terminating zone, so on and so forth. But I think I'm going to go back and take a look at the accounts in the Drayton Valley area. So I've got the things that spin with that. And then I'm going to look at my timing, and I'm going to say, well, let's take a look at who has been busy in the last 90 days in the Drayton Valley area. So what I've done is I've said, hey, I want Drayton Valley and I want to see activity in the last 90 days. I then can bring it up and sort the information sending, descending. And then I can come down and I can take a look at all of the different companies. If I wanted to specifically pick one, I could go in and do my search specific to that company. Let's say that I want to look at InPlay specifically. I decided InPlay is a company that I want to call. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to back out the board field center and the drilling activity date, and then I'm going to look specifically at InPlay Oil and Gas. I now see how often that they're spudding per month, that they're going after crude oil. I can then come over here and see everything is in Alberta. They're mostly going into the Cardium play and in the Pembina field as well, and then there is some of the locations. And then I can also come over here and see who their drilling contractor is. Again, just as an example, I can come back here to my LinkedIn, and then I can specifically go in and I can target InPlay and InPlay, and then I'm just going to put oil in there, and then InPlay oil, and I'll do a search, and we can VP of Operations, Vice President of Business Development, the President of, there's a contracts person that I might want to talk to, so on and so forth. So I've got a lot of different people that I can start to target specifically with my mobile device. Looking at focusing on productivity, how quickly can we get information in the hands of your sales reps so they can be out building more relationships? An example of Enerlead Qlik as well as LinkedIn.